Hi everyone, my name is Logan. Want to introduce myself and kind of talk a little bit about the channel and the bus and the projects that we got going on, and explain to you kind of what we're doing and kind of how we got to where we're at. So we're in the middle of a bus project, which you'll see in a little bit, and we kind of started this because, as you can see, I'm standing in a garage that I built just recently, along with our house, some of which is documented on this channel already. This garage here will kind of serve as a workshop to some of the projects and stuff that you guys see going on going forward. But a little bit of background on me. Started our house build in 2017, I believe it was, after a long road to try and get it approved to be built. We built a house. I basically general contracted it, and did quite a bit of the work myself, thanks to my dad and family. In the cheapskate in me doesn't like paying anybody to do anything, so the logical solution is to get on the internet and learn it yourself. So hopefully this channel helps to serve others, kind of like the internet and YouTube and the forums have served me as a learning resource. We were looking at campers, and we looked at new, we looked at used, we looked at expensive, inexpensive, and what we kind of landed on was what we were able to afford at the time, or so we thought, was on the lower end, the entry level side of campers. And we were looking at bumper pull campers to try to travel around with our two kids and our dog. What we found after looking at them was they were very cheap. We really didn't like how they were put together and just could not justify spending even the money for a lower end one to pull around. And then you have the wear and tear, and I have a truck to pull it, but it just wasn't something that we wanted to get into ultimately. And we'd seen the bus conversions and always thought that was a cool idea. And being that my hobbies involve cars, as you can see, although that's not mine. Cars, there's one that's going to be forever a project, and then a motorcycle as well, and the rest of my mess. This garage and shop is still in progress, we'll say. But the cars and things were already in my wheelhouse. I'd had experience building houses and home remodeling and things like that. So we thought, why not build a house on wheels? So after a while back and forth between a camper and a bus, and then a camper again, and then do we even do this at all, we ended up buying a bus down in Washington, D.C. So I drove down, looked at it, looked at a couple actually in the area, ended up committing to a purchase, drove down the next day, and drove it back, topped out at 55 miles an hour, but I had an air ride seat and rear air suspension, and it just it felt right. So we brought it back here and got to work gutting it, and you'll see the bus here in a minute. But hopefully we can help to document the process of the bus going forward, and help some other people out with their conversions, seeing the way that I want to do it. My vision of the bus is a little bit different maybe than some other people's. We don't plan to live in it full time, as you see a lot of people on YouTube and other video sites live in theirs full time. We don't plan on that. We plan on using it for long weekend trips, maybe a week at a time. But we wanted something that we could just jump in and go and have all the amenities of home. So we also didn't want to do something that was kind of like, just thrown together, and we didn't want to have to make any exceptions basically versus how we lived at home. So you'll kind of see that in how we how we've made some of those decisions. Some of them will probably change as we go along. I'm Lee, my wife, who's going to be doing a good portion of the editing and a lot of the behind the scenes work, and she'll probably be in some of the videos. You'll see her design touches on this. Her design touches and my ability to make it happen sometimes conflict, but most of the time they work out. In this case, my indecisiveness will also come into play as far as how much money I want to spend and how much work I want to do to accomplish a certain task. And I guess that's kind of the name of the game. But with me, it's always been about do it as cheaply as possible, but with the best quality possible. And I know, have your cake and eat it too type of scenario, but that's the never-ending battle of someone taking on projects, I guess. So here's our bus. Little background on it. It is a 2002 International chassis. It is Amtran's body, American Transit. It has a T444E, which is a 7.3 liter international engine, Navistar International. Also very similar, if not almost identical, to a 7.3 liter Power Stroke diesel from Ford. Ford actually partnered with International to develop the 7.3, and then Ford put their own spin on that with their own ECU and an electronic control system. So hardware-wise, this engine's very similar to that, which makes it nice, and was also one of the reasons I liked it as far as getting parts for the engine while on the road if we were to have issues with anything. So bus is 38 feet, 78 passenger, and excuse me, it's freezing cold out here. But we chose it because it's a rear engine pusher, as you can see. I wanted the rear engine pusher for undercarriage storage options. The undercarriage here, as you can see, makes it very there's almost nothing under there. Benefit in that is great as far as undercarriage options for water tanks and things like that. So as you can see, there's some work already done on the bus. We went ahead and kind of already laid out some things, and I can go over what we've done here shortly. But the bus purchase itself, we came in at $3,800 for the bus. I know everyone's asked that question, how much does a bus cost? This bus cost $3,800, so it was kind of hard to pass up at $3,800 for a running and driving vehicle. You can't buy a 7.3 liter running Power Stroke drivetrain for almost that much anymore. So we're happy with it. Very little rust, tinted windows, 6'6" interior height, which is great for me being 6 foot tall. I won't hit my head after we insulate and install ceiling and floor insulation. And the length is right. All right, so we'll head inside and look at the bus and show you some of the features inside the bus and kind of why we bought this bus. So this bus has a 6'6" interior height, or 6'5", I guess you'd say. I'm 6 foot tall, so this gives me enough room that once we get our ceiling installed, coupled with the plywood and insulation that's already installed on the floor, once we get it installed, I won't hit my head, which is nice. Also, this bus has one air conditioner here, another back there, which is great. It also has a rear heater, which is that black box on the floor back there, right there. And it has heat down here, as most buses do. So the benefit of that obviously is heat and air conditioning while you're on the road. The other thing we liked about this bus was just the overall size and layout of the bus. It just made sense for what we wanted to do with 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and our dog. With a family, you're kind of limited to that style layout, just because there's really no other way to fit all the other amenities in the bus without putting the master bedroom back there. We will have bunks. You can see bunk here and bunk here. This side will only have a top bunk. This side will have top and bottom bunks. This side the bottom area will be space for a washer dryer combo, as well as some storage. So it'll kind of just have that upper bunk. We will be able to fit a king bed back here. There definitely had to be some fabrication work, we'll say, and some other modifications done in order for us to be able to do that. Those yellow triangles tell a little bit of a tale as far as that goes. So being that we knew we were putting bedrooms back here, you can see that all these windows all throughout here are gone. You saw them on the outside of the bus as well. I have fabricated window delete panels is kind of the term I coined for that. They basically bolt right in the same that the windows do, with a simple screw and retaining washer. So you can see how the stock windows go in there. Reason being, the stock windows are single pane. They're very leaky as far as air infiltration goes. They don't insulate well or at all. And they don't provide any privacy really. So we figure in the back, when you're on a bus, if you're not living full time, you're at a campground, you're at a destination, right? Most of the time you're in the bedroom, it's not, or the bunks, you're not hanging out like you do at your house. You're going in there to sleep and you're done with your activities for the day. So there's not much time spent back here. So we didn't need a beautiful view out of the bedroom window. We wanted privacy and comfort, whether that be heat or AC. So we blocked off the windows, as you can see, even up to this window here. And you can kind of see how we are, we're going off of our layout here and kind of our sketchboard, if you will. So moving up further in the bus, you'll have your bunks, like I said. Then you have your shower, storage shelves, and then a range here. And you can kind of see how they're all taped off. Kitchen counter and sink right here. And then a couch here, which will about 6 foot, just for reference. It goes the whole way up to the front. And we have a matching couch that will go, excuse the mess, will go on the other side right here. So those 2 couches will then slide together. We'll be able to either have a table that pops up in between them, is the plan, so that we can use that to eat at, or we can pull the couches together and use them for sleeping space for guests or whatnot. So those couches will be able to come together, and we can use them for sleeping space for guests. It'll basically be about a queen or a king size bed for friends or family, whoever wants to come along with us. So moving further up, we have right from here to here, directly across from our kitchen sink is just going to be a floating counter. So that'll be kind of like a bar to eat at, just a standard eating space, counter space, whatever you want to call it. Fridge will be right here on the floor. Fridge will be right here. And then we'll have a bathroom, sink, and toilet here. This was critical in our layout because this door here will remain, and my plan is to be able to put some sort of RV style fold out steps outside so that we can access that bathroom without having to come through the bus and get our feet dirty. So the door is on the driver's side, which is not ideal if you know anything about camping. Most everything's operated off the passenger side. However, in this case, we were kind of limited to that, and it's still better than not having outside access, because we won't always be at campgrounds, so it's not that critical. It's just be nice to have some sort of door access to go right into the bathroom. Keep in mind, like a lot of what we're planning to do is to go skiing in the wintertime with our kids, and travel obviously to some other winter destinations, but also use it in the summertime. So muddy feet, snowy feet, just that type of stuff in general, and a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old running around, any dirt we can keep out of the inside of the bus is better off for us. So that's basically our layout. Some of the other things that I can kind of elaborate on and highlight for you are what we did here at the back. You can see, and we'll throw in some pictures for you here. And that kind of shows you how this looked beforehand. These were kind of intake ducts that pulled air in from like a side passage here, which was vented here and here. And then you can see where the intake duct kind of ran this way down and funneled air into the engine bay. The way that the engine bay works on these, or the radiator system, cooling system works on these, is reverse from a car. A car, you have air move into the front of the car going down the road and pushes through your radiator, cools your engine coolant just as a giant heat sink, air to water cooling over the radiator fins. In the bus, it's reverse. So it's actually pulling air in from the engine bay side of things and pushing it out the back. So those were critical in keeping this bus cool. What I've done is remove them. And I obviously put fabricated cover panels to go here. I fabricated a new cover panel here for what is the turbo access to the engine. Obviously that's removable. Everything is insulated as well. And in order to make that work, I'll take you outside and kind of show you what we did for the outside engine access doors.
Who are you getting?
What?
Who's up there? Who's up there? Go get him. Weston.
Hi, Daddy.
Where's Daddy? Go get him.
So you can see what this cover panel actually covers here. It was a large opening with mesh in it. And our solution to that is to make these panels here. And these open up to provide access to the engine. And you can see how the door was cut and notched for these to fit. So after the engine bay work was done and the ducts were removed, I went ahead and you can kind of see how we've done this. This is a good kind of cross section, we'll say. 5/8 plywood, 19/32 plywood, not OSB. I don't recommend OSB just because it's not very resistant to moisture if moisture were to get in here. But then we also have 3/4 inch foam board. So happy medium as far as thickness goes on the two. I didn't want to take away too much height so that I don't have any headroom clearance once we get the ceiling in. But you can see that we got the whole floor done in that fashion. So the entire floor was covered in foam and then 5/8 plywood over top of that and screwed down with some screws that are for wood to metal connection. They're Tech brand screws. Right there you go. Everything seems to be holding well. Definitely quieted the bus down since we did that, and it seems to be working well. It's not an uncommon way of installing it from what I've seen elsewhere. Keep in mind that a lot of what I'm doing here is based on what I've read online and seen online, but also throwing my own personal touch of experience in here with houses and general home construction, as well as vehicle modification. A lot of what I've done with vehicles in the past has revolved around fabrication and kind of making things my own. So we actually have this documented in a thread called on Skoolie.net called Our Sheelhouse. It's called Our Sheelhouse because we figured it was in our wheelhouse. And being the Sheelhouse family, our wheelhouse is literally a house on wheels in this case. And it was just fitting with the skill set between my wife and I that we would give this a shot. So is everything going to be done the way anyone else would do it? Probably not. Hopefully not. And is it going to be done right? Hopefully. Am I going to do some things wrong? Probably. And hopefully I have the know-how to get them fixed, and it's not too big of an issue, but it's going to be trial and error, so we're going to see. Part of what we're running into now as far as trial and error goes is doing my research on HVAC systems. So as of right now, and there'll be more on another video to come on this, heating system, electrical system, plumbing system, all that design work is kind of all circulating around in my head right now. And the thought right now, assuming all goes well with the purchase I have lined up, is diesel hydronic heating, diesel coolant heating. So I'm really trying to stick with a single fuel setup on this bus. I'd really like to stay with a diesel fuel powered bus. And that means everything from the heating, the hot water, and the cooking, everything I'm hoping to run off diesel. Reason being, we have a 100-gallon fuel tank on this bus. The 100-gallon fuel tank is great until you have to fill it up. However, if you do the math on therm and BTU usage, BTU requirements, and what you get for your dollar, basically, for diesel, it's cheaper than electric. Obviously, depending on the market price for diesel, it's cheaper than electric, and it's cheaper than propane. Also, being that electric is a bit of a commodity on a bus, because you don't want to soak up too much electric on the bus for things that are unnecessary, especially if you plan to go off grid, which we plan to do for a few days at a time. So to digress, the bus, we're looking at doing maybe a max of 3 to 4 days off grid at a time. So we're not looking to go weeks or days or weeks or months off grid, but we do want to be able to go off grid for a few days. For example, park at the base of a mountain and go skiing. So going forward with this channel and possibly other channels, we'll definitely be documenting the build on the bus, but you may also see some other projects going on in the garage, like this, getting ready to sell one of the bikes. There's obviously still a lot of work to do in the garage, so I'll be documenting things like that as far as insulation, finishing the interior. Got a lot of plans for this, more electrical, and really setting this shop up to be able to work in. Eventually making this shop larger would be the plan, but for right now it'll do. Still really haven't got to use it too much yet. So you'll see projects in here, probably in and around the house. Kind of a documentary, if you will, or a day in the life. We'll say multiple days in the life, every day in the life of what's going on here at our household. We've had requests from friends to kind of keep them updated on what we're working on, what we're doing. So the YouTube channel will kind of serve as that, and if some other people jump on along the way and kind of want to see what we're doing, see how we're doing it, ask questions, that'd be awesome. And hope you guys enjoy.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Who's in the bus? Daddy, say hi.